So I wanted to go in on a benevolent and malevolent aspect of institution and Mason, right? On the face of it, and even beyond that, it's benevolent. But there is a tie-in. They're looking for any sustainable, repetitive action that we're likely to any repetition action that is sustainable, that we're likely to put our energy behind it. And they place their witches there, but the witches are not malevolent. They're being chosen by an archon with a interest in corporatizing Bolshevik, and it's the opposite. Where if you ask what is it that the Independent Order of Oddfellows does, it's not going to be Jacobinism. It's not going to be Jacobian psyops with going around with the guillotine popping up in places and demonstrating in public like a political, because they're non-political, non-sectarian. The other aspect, the clandestine aspect of the Masonry, is the corporatist agenda is trying to corporatize Bolshevism, which is the Jacobins, French, Dutch. And it's tie-ins to anything grassroots. So like because a corporate is anything but grassroots, and you find at some level then they're trying to interface with the chosen, or they have these vanguard witches, right? They're decent people. They're actually just decent people. If you look at the corporate hierarchy, God is at the top. The devil is number 2, underboss, and then the people underneath are all underneath. You know what I mean? And sometimes they come out of what's it called? When they get a little bit less willing to work with the devil, then they can go and have a meeting, and God will put them back into a frame of mind to carry out their duty and work more conducively together, with all the people that are being supervised by the devil. It's counterintuitive. Like the corporation wants to become a person, because people is one thing that they don't have in common with, is that Dominion. About something wearing off sooner. They have to evolve more often. Corporation has to adapt and evolve more frequently than a human that you would need to encourage change, or to even connote that change being positive or anything like that, because it's not necessarily good, right? And they want to have to change less because they know what's up with what time is. They need us to think along the lines of changing everything radically, you know what I mean? To accept the terms of something that we would agree on. That's we not typically we want to make. You might be jumping out of the pan into the fire, and that's looking at the agenda of the corporatists for people to rage against the machine, to which is what the Jacobins were doing, psyops, you know. It's a low grade intimidation, and want to, you know, alienate each other, galvanize into dualistic structures with Hegelian opposition factors to take on something similar to each other or something. You agree to the terms of experimentalism and take on the victim mentality, then like it's another kind of a permission structure. Then you need governance and shit, right? It's legitimizing. And if they don't have a grassroots appeal, then they have to tie in with those agencies, so you wonder if they're a clandestine agency. If you go and look into it, what do they believe? And you Google, and it's not something that you can actually believe. They believe in inclusion. They believe in inclusion. I'm sorry, that's not a belief. You know, it says, but that's the platform that social media that you use to ask questions. You can expect to get the kind of answers that that their PR filled out in a questionnaire for the interaction, for the interface, right? They're non-sectarian, non-political, but the tie-in is to create something grassroots that can be a way to apprehend and reseed the psyche of the collective conscious with their rotating schedule of transhumanist proposition. So look in the description of the Oddfellows, and it says the postulate has to believe in a master of creation, and that stewards all creation. And the thing is, creation is not eternal. It's the uncreated things that are eternal. Creation is for children, drunk, like, you know, the gods are all drunk children. Okay, so that's why you find good people in the position of witches, what's described as magic, but only applies to that which can be a way for non-government corporatists to affect social engineering changes. And it's because the people are the ones that exalt certain individuals that are chosen to the pinnacle, where they go beyond scrutiny, and then they're able to allow for things such as the FTX crash or something like that, because the institution was given too much credibility, and they were exalted to being heroes of the industry, right? And the same thing we can call an oligarch, or we can call an industrial dynamo. It's up to your own particular bent, favor. And a conflict is just going to find people with a particular bent or favor on a story that that they put forth, and there's truth to it, and then there's not going to be truth, some to it. Some of it's going to be all what's it called, artificially or sponsored psychological operations, like Jacobinism. So I don't know a lot about this subject, right? But the Jacobins are the Bolsheviks coming across in another way, and it's the agenda of the Confucius Society, is because they need, believe it or not, they love the idea of a lone wingnet. They like the idea of somebody that you can overlook, that when scrutiny needs to be pushed away, and then they favor plausible deniability, then they could pop up with one of these people that go, shit, we overlooked him. You know what I mean? And then their fingerprint is back there, but you can't really put a finger on it. You can't rule from an advantage of being known. You have to be unseen in order to have true hegemonic power. Anybody vying for that hegemonic power is given a certain amount of leash. You're given a certain amount of leash before you find out what the fuck it really is. You know what I mean? And I don't want to test it. You pushing it already just by implying what it might be, because it's gonna peek in and on whoever it is that's passing himself off as that. And when it's not that, then you'll see what the Archon is. Right now it sounds like conspiracy theory and everything. But I mean, if you could see the selection process and know that it's not a human selection process, it's corporatistic. It wants to be human. It wants to be a person. And there's like a schedule with certain terminology that we got to be on schedule with terminology. So I had something